Just last week, the National Australia Bank was praised for slicing 25 basis points off its interest rate to help working families. Tonight, the financial giant stands accused of selling out a family, forcing them out of their home and onto the street. Adam Shand was there on eviction day.
It's the end of the dream for this Australian family. The sheriff, on behalf of the National Australia Bank, is ordering Luke Knight, his wife Kylie and 2 children out of their home. They have 20 minutes to vacate. Tonight, they'll be homeless. So what are you going to do tonight, Kylie?
I don't know.
Like a caravan park or something like that.
It's a cold, heartless business. But the sheriff has no time for compassion or discussion.
Possession notice you in the process of taking possession and ask you to step off the property.
Sergeant, you reckon you've done a good day's work today?
No comment.
Throwing a family out of a house?
No comment.
Good job. Well done. Luke Knight says he's up to date with the mortgage payments on his Cranbourne home in Melbourne's outer suburbs. He did miss some payments when work was scarce, but he's made that up. Still, the bank is taking the house.
We put a couple, like 50, 60 bucks extra in a week to try and, make it better, but they just don't want to know.
The Knights say they've organised a refinancing through another institution, but that's been too slow for the National Australia Bank.
It's crazy. I'm doing all we can. I don't even have a house. They don't care. It's really hard. They won't listen. You've got the money, but that's not good enough.
And so the vultures have descended. The sheriff's men, the locksmiths and even a local real estate salesman acting for the bank. This lot are losing their home today. There's 2 kids, one, tiny baby.
Yeah, look, they'd have to take that up with the bank, so yeah. I've got no comment on it, sorry.
Any sympathy for the family at all?
Of course, but I don't know the situation. I only got contacted a couple of days ago, that was all. So
what did they ask you to do?
Just to organise the locks, that's all.
Organise the locks?
That's it, yep.
Yeah, to lock a family out.
Oh, that's what it is, yeah.
And this is a story that will be played out all over Australia in the next 6 months as high interest rates and an economic slowdown begin to bite. Remember that friendly man from the bank who promised you the world when he gave you the loan? Well, he's moving in, changing the locks, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it.
I think what you've got now is you've got thousands of families that are hanging on by their fingernails, and you can almost hear them, the grating as they're sliding, and a lot of those people are going to fall in the next few months.
Property advocate Neil Genman says Australia is in for an almighty property bust if the economy continues to slow.
This is a form of war where people have to hang on to their houses. Now, will Australians hang on to their houses? I think what we're going to see is we're going to see a lot of them do anything they can to hold on to their houses.
And on the other side are the banks. Reeling from a global credit crunch, local lenders are quickly losing patience with defaulters.
Banks are now very focused on getting their money back, their security back. And unfortunately, it means with homeowners that if you default on your loan, the bank is a lot more likely to foreclose on the mortgage than what it used to be.
Financial expert Tom Elliott of MM&E Capital.
I think sadly we're going to see a lot more foreclosures. The issue of higher interest rates and rising unemployment are just really starting to make their presence felt in the economy. That means, of course, that people are struggling. They're trying to repay their home loans, but eventually, if they're crushed by that debt and they can't do it, that's when houses start getting foreclosed, and as a result, people get kicked out of them. We've only seen the tip of the iceberg thus far.
And people are literally on a treadmill, struggling to make ends meet.
Leanne Petridis of the Cranbourne Information and Support Centre sees the growing social toll of heartless bank practices.
We've been seeing more and more people coming in financial stress, mortgage stress, having to work through bankruptcies, possibly mortgage defaults. At the moment, the financial counsellor who works with us has a 10 or 12 week waiting period for assistance, which is just too long when you're in crisis.
After 7 years of home ownership, tonight Luke and his family will struggle to find accommodation.
People are couch surfing, relying on the goodwill of friends and relatives in some cases. These are real people we're dealing with, people who come into us who are desperate, who are crying, who are embarrassed as well. People try their very hardest to hang on to their homes and to do the right things. But we're in the middle of a housing crisis, and sadly I think it's going to get worse.
The National Australia Bank refused to comment on this case. It's not surprising. What's one more family on the street when there are happy shareholders and big corporate bonuses to help the bank managers sleep through the night.
It's okay.
That doesn't seem fair, does it? And in a statement sent to a current affairs, a spokesperson for the NAB said remedies to hardship depend on the customer's situation and repossessing a house is apparently the last resort. Further, the bank encourages families to contact them as soon as possible if they're experiencing financial difficulties.